I have always been physically small for my age, sometimes called petite, and it hasn't been easy. During my childhood, boys wouldn't play with me because I was too little and just got in the way, so they said. My size was no problem with the girls who let me join them in their groups. Maybe they felt sorry for me. In school, during boys/girl activities, such as dancing or competition, if there was a shortage of girls, I was routinely assigned to the girls' ranks because I was so little and looked like a girl. Of course, the other boys were grateful they weren't chosen. It became so common that I eventually didn't wait to be told and just assumed my station on the girls' side. And all the kids came to accept me in that position without comment. I just learned to tag along with the girls. I was even assigned a girl's part in a school play, don't know why, but I suspect that the teacher thought I wanted to do it. As time passed, I developed a close relationship with the girls in my classes and was welcomed by them. We studied and did projects together and sort of grew up together. I had few boyfriends since their activities, mostly sports, didn't interest me, and they didn't seem to want to do anything with me that I liked. But they treated me kindly because my influence with the girls put me in a good position to line the boys up with girlfriends. I was not uncommon for me to be invited to the parties of my closest friends. And I was comfortable being there even though it was all girls and the activities were usually those of girls. Their parents never seemed to mind my presence, and mine encouraged me to attend. They all believed it was because I was so well-mannered, a real little gentleman. At one party especially, during the 8th grade, we played all afternoon and into the evening, 7 girls. And me, the only boy. We had so much fun then it evolved into a slumber party, and I was invited to stay. Pajamas were provided for all, and I was offered a yellow baby doll nightie, consisting of a sheer top and a lace trim panty bottom, which I put on without a second thought. I was just doing what my friends were doing. No problem with fit, since I was smaller than the hostess. When I first appeared wearing the outfit, the girls cheered and applauded and commented on how cute I looked. They were my friends. I wasn't embarrassed, I knew it was good-natured teasing. We then settled into a night's fun of girl talk, mostly about boys, getting my point of view about boys' behavior, until all were asleep on the living room floor. As was usual, I felt comfortable being there, and the parents had no problem with it. My first pajama party. After that party, this group of girls treated me like a sister to them, just one of the girls, which I didn't mind. I enjoyed their confidence. I had evolved into a group of close friends, girls. By the 9th grade, being a member of the group, I had been invited to several more pajama parties. I must have been fun to have around, sort of a mascot. But I was more like a baby brother to my friends. They always provided me with the proper attire since I didn't own any girls' things and they insisted I wear them and, of course, I accommodated them. They always managed to give me the laciest outfits, of which I never complained. I did, fact, learn to enjoy wearing the things, and I think the girls got a kick out of seeing me that way. My first experience at fully cross-dressing occurred during the 10th grade. I was invited to an Avon party. Not knowing what that was, I accepted. I soon found out, it was a setup. I was to be the model. The Avon lady demonstrated her makeup samples on me, foundations, eyeshadow, mascara, blush, lipstick, nail polish, the works. Of course, I was a good sport and put up no resistance. In fact, I enjoyed it. Maybe that's why the girls liked me. When finished, I had the face of a beautiful girl. Then my friends pounced on me and went to work on my hair. It was just long enough for them to arrange into a girlish style with bangs and a few curls. The hostess, Pam, pretending to invite me upstairs to show me something, took me to her room and persuaded me to change into her clothes, which she had already prepared for me. Continuing to be the usual good sport, I obeyed. It didn't take much persuasion. These were my friends and I felt comfortable with them. I knew they weren't going to tease me, and I always wanted to see how I looked fully dressed as a girl, so, with Pam's help, I put on her clothes. When I rejoined the girls downstairs, I was completely dressed, from high-heeled shoes and stockings to panties, bra, slip, dress, and, of course, makeup and hairdo. I loved my new look. The girls loved seeing me that way, and said it was about time I conformed with my sisters. They had thought I always wanted to look this way, so they planned this event. I guess they knew me better than I knew myself. I did feel very comfortable and confident with my appearance. I now felt a special closeness to the girls. All I could do was hug them and say thank you. Ostensibly, this was all in fun, but they started something that wasn't to end. That afternoon we girls went out to window shop, to see and be seen. They had gone to a lot of trouble, now they wanted to show me off. It was a new experience for me, one I'll never forget. I had known these girls for years, we had done a lot of things together, but I had never been as one of them. I really felt self-confident passing as a girl. I instinctually acted and carried myself as a lady to the raves of my companions. Like I had been born a girl, but I'd always been with girls, so it seemed natural. The Avon lady had given me a bunch of samples to keep, and they were put to good use. Pam continued to help me by letting me wear her clothes, coaching me in the art of being a lady, and instructing me with makeup tips whenever I wanted to dress up, and it became frequent till I got accomplished with the makeup application. By the time of our senior year, I had begun to acquire some of my own women's clothes, which she allowed me to keep at her house, mainly underwear, e.g. panties, slips, bras and hosiery. The girls in our group loved to see me cross-dressed and insisted that I dress up at every opportunity, which I did just about every time we went out together. They gave me lots of advice and instruction, and I was a quick study, being highly motivated. I enjoyed being with them as a girl, and they treated me accordingly. It was great practice for me, and it was fun to experience the effect it had on boys, especially the ones who would never even talk to me, but now wanted to date me. The first time my parents saw me dressed, they thought it was a joke. They went along with it and admired how pretty I was. The usual remarks about how I should have been a girl, etc., and "you're so pretty, you should look like that all the time." Well, of course I wanted to accommodate them, so I did let them see me dress more often, saying I'm just taking their advice. In a short time, they realized it wasn't a joke and accepted my appearance if it made me happy to look like that, which it did. After high school, Pam and I luckily attended the same college, and she continued to help me cross-dress. I concentrated on developing feminine features such as skin and hair care, keeping my body hairless, what little hair I had, having electrolysis treatments for beard removal when I could afford it, piercing my ears, and continual chest massage and manipulation to develop a bust line. In some of the large lecture classes where there was no roll call, it was possible for me to attend as a girl. Nobody noticed me. Just another small, pretty girl in the crowd, and I loved going to class that way. Turned more than a few boys' heads. At all other times, I just wore feminine underclothes. Even when Pam and I studied together, I wore girls' clothes. We both got part-time jobs to help with expenses, Pam in retail sales at a department store, I as a librarian, a female librarian, of course. At a public library, since I had the features and wardrobe of a girl. Nobody ever guessed my true gender and, in fact, took me for a girl no matter how I was dressed. I was very much at ease working as a young lady. I was able to work my way through college in that manner. I really wanted to register and attend all my classes as a woman, but I knew it would have messed up my credentials for employment later. I didn't want to live my life as a woman. It was just an occasional thing. After graduation, Pam went on to find a husband, and I found a wife. While courting Nina, I revealed to her my desire to cross-dress. I had to, it was difficult to hide. I had developed such feminine features, it was a struggle to be a man. At first meeting, Nina thought I was a girl. Both my ears are pierced for earrings, I have no facial or body hair, my hair is moderately long and well-conditioned, and I have developed small but noticeable chest from years of pulling and tight bras. She wanted to see me dressed as a girl. And when she did, she was impressed, and not at all offended. I told her about my background of being raised almost exclusively with girls, and my experiences as a cross-dresser. Nina was very accepting about the whole thing, loving me for myself and not how I looked, and thought it would be fun for me to occasionally spend time as a woman, as long as we could be together. She only wanted me to be happy at whatever I wanted to do. Since we've been married, she and I do many things together as girls. We vacation together, shop together, and just generally have a good time. She's pleased about having a double wardrobe, we're the same size, and a live-in girlfriend, as well as a husband. And I'm happy being able to continue to express myself in the manner I've lived most of my life. Sometimes being small has its rewards.